Hey everybody, welcome back to another Glew University. Excited to get started today. We'll probably just go through like 30 more seconds or so just to let some people filter in. While we're doing that, if you want to say hello in the chat, feel free. Always like to know who we have in the audience today. And we'll go ahead and, while we're kind of letting people filter in, I'll go ahead and start introducing everybody on the team. So it's a little hard to hear me. I guess I'll get closer to the mic. Hey everybody, my name is Christian Olofsson. I'm head of client success here at Glew. So I'll be leading the presentation today, and then I have with me three of our CS reps, and I'll let you all introduce yourselves as well.
Hi guys, my name's Katie Roberts. I have been with Glew for about 3 years now, so you guys might recognize me from the CS side, but excited to talk about some Glew customer segments today.
Hey everyone, I'm Lauren McQueen. I've been with Glew for about 7 months now. Very excited to walk through this. Customer segments is one of my favorite features of the platform.
Hi everyone, my name is Julie Morrison. Just like Katie, you might recognize me, but I was previously on the sales side of Glew and recently made the switch over to Glew Pro Client Success. Super excited. This is my first webinar on CS, so looking forward to diving in.
Awesome. Well, excited to have everybody here today. We got a full house. So you will go ahead, or we will go ahead and get started. So like I said, today we're going to be exploring customer segments with Glew. So first, we're just going to talk a little bit about what we'll cover. So we'll talk about customer segmentation in Glew and which customer segments you should be looking at. Importantly, we'll also talk about how to create custom segments. Then we'll talk about how to use segmentation for marketing. So this is going to be very heavily involved in syncing segments in Glew over to your EMS. Two very common ones that we work with are Mailchimp and Klaviyo. And then we'll talk a little bit about how customer segmentation can also provide some insight about your customers, their buying behaviors, demographics, and things like that. So everything here is involved in, our two main goals, which is bringing in new customers and, having them repeat buy. So we'll talk a little bit about ways to improve that. So with all that said, if you're wondering what customer segments are, we have to start with, well, what is customer segmentation? So customer segmentation, essentially, in its simplest form, just enables you to group customers together who have a similar characteristic. So, you can think about it as people from a certain city, or, when they first ordered, or where did they come from, or, there's a lot of different things. So with Glew, we actually have over 100 data sources that you can pull into our data warehouse, which gives you just a ton of different filters. In addition, you can build custom segments on your own, and we do have 31 predefined segments in Glew Pro. So all that means is these are segments that we thought we would save you a little bit of time. We went ahead and built them for you. Again, if you want to get creative, you can build your own. So we'll talk a little bit about some predefined ones, where to find those, and then what we're actually going to heavily focus on today is some segments that we as a team think are really valuable for you all to implement into your day-to-day workflows. So if you're not super familiar with Glew's platform, I'm going to quickly highlight where in the tool you will find these predefined segments. So if you jump into your Glew platform and you see the customers tab, right? Customer segments, customers, it kind of makes sense. Click into that. You're going to see customer list, and then you're going to see segments. So if you click into segments, this will show you all of our predefined Glew segments. You'll have two views here. You'll have a list view, and then you'll have a table view. I believe the next slide shows the table view. Yeah. And you can see these on predefined or custom. So as you go into customer lists, and we'll talk a little bit about how to actually do that today, but as you build those custom segments, when you click that predefined dropdown, you'll see custom. So you're able to see your custom and your predefined. It's a little bit blurry on this screenshot, unfortunately, but what this shows you is going to be things like customer count, order count, revenue, AOV, margin, and then I think it says profit, and most importantly, LTV, which is very popular. So if you are interested in just comparing overall LTV of segments, you're going to want to check out the list view there. All right, cool. So I'm going to jump into lapse point, which is going to be a kind of like a diamond metric, if you want to call it, within Glew. I'll just kind of set the stage for this, and then we'll actually let Lauren talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, so lapse point in Glew, if you're interested in what that is, I'll show you where to find your lapse point in Glew. You're actually going to go to store settings. In the second kind of group of data, you're going to see lapse point right there under data preferences. And what a lapse point is this is the amount of time in days that a merchant or store has to upsell a customer for that customer is most likely not going to purchase again. So if you can think about it, let's say your lapse point is like 100 days. If I buy from you today, 100 days passed, the chances of me buying again become very, very, very low. So why is that a powerful metric? Is because it gives us a window in which we need to make sure we're servicing our customers to ensure a really exciting experience, a positive experience, and providing them enough content, whether it's through email, retargeting ads, and things like that, to get them to purchase again. As far as the calculation goes, it's going to be kind of something that we hold here at Glew, but how it, the high level view of it focuses on customers with the amount of orders greater than one, takes the average distance between each purchase for each unique customer in order to provide this dynamic, actionable, dependable upsell window. Each store will have a unique lapse point. Yours may be different than somebody else's, and it's all based on your data. So as your data changes over time, so will your lapse point, right? So just keep that in mind. Within a lapse point, there is also going to be 3 stages, right? So it looks like in this example, we used 85 days, which is not as simple math as 100, but can still use it. But basically, there's 3 stages in the lapse point. There is the active, there is the at-risk, and there is the loss. So active is actually going to be 80% of the way through your lapse point. So these are active customers. They just started receiving their products. They're very excited. So in this section, in the active state, you want to be adding value, right? This is where content is really powerful. We see brands that, after you buy, they send you like a welcome email with some content based on what your product is. If you're, yoga company and you sell yoga clothes or something like that, sending workout videos or coupons for a yoga studio and their location. There's a lot of different things you can do, right, to create an experience in which a customer is not just receiving a product, they're getting something from a brand that they really like. At risk is going to be over 80% of the way through your lapse point. So it's that last 81 to 100%. And this is where customers are starting to fall into that at risk, right? They're not active anymore. They haven't bought in 80% of the way through your lapse point. So in this stage, we're going to want to change how we actually action these customers. You want to be a little bit more aggressive. This is where you want to start pushing products in your emails or your retargeting ads or whatever, your SMS text messages. However you're interacting with your customers, the focus here is, hey, are you, in the simplest form, are you going to buy again? You may want to encourage them. Some people actually in the at-risk will start using coupon codes to kind of leverage that as well. So, and then losses means that, hey, they passed their lapse point. So it doesn't necessarily mean that all hope is lost. We'll talk a little bit about how to do some win-back campaigns with lost customers. But this just means that, based on your store data, the chances of them coming back are low. So it's going to take a little bit extra work to get them back. These are things where you're going to probably need to do a coupon code. You'll probably need to segment out these groups of customers and find a way to impact them. So the next slide, we're just showing you where to actually utilize it in Glew. So if you jump into the Glew platform, you go to segments, you'll see that in the predefined, you'll see active, at risk, and lost. If you click into any of those, it'll show you these segment KPIs, which will give you the exact customer count that you have. And if you scroll a little bit further down, this will actually show you the breakout, right? So a lot of e-commerce businesses are going to have a ton of lost customers, right? But this will show you your exact breakdown and your biggest opportunity.
Yeah. So,
Hold on one second. All right. You're good.
Yeah, if we actually go back to the previous one and looking, you'll see that kind of donut segment down there documenting all 3, the active, at risk, and lost. Your largest piece that you're seeing right now in this puzzle is actually your lost customers. And we're hovering over the at risk. So you'll see that's why it's an orange and showing that. And one of the best ways to increase revenue is to win back those high LTV customers that are lost. And so we can do that by stacking some additional filters onto our predefined lost. So if we do that, the way to win back your high value customers who have not purchased in a long time is to add some of those additional filters to that predefined lost segment. So at the top inside Glew, you'll hit the edit filter button, and then you'll add things like the lifetime order filter and the lifetime revenue. So the lifetime orders can be up to you and your store's data, typically looking about 3 purchases or more. And then for your lifetime revenue, we suggest doing 2 times or 2.5 times your LTV. So you can see in the example here, I did 3 and then 225 multiplying your lifetime value. And you'll see in the Glew bar on the side under customers, right now we're in the segments tab. If you're not sure what your LTV is, right below it is that lifetime value. So you'll create those filters, click on create new segment, title it, and that will bring you to the next view, which will be a new segment KPI view of that once extremely large red piece of the donut. So this has now narrowed down your customer segment into 3,747 customers who were once extremely valuable but haven't purchased in a long time. So outside of that lapse point. So your goal for the next few months is to try to win back as many of these, try to convert about 5% of those lost customers by pushing this lost in VIP segment, because you've created that new custom segment, to Klaviyo or your mail platform. And it's an easy and great way to reintroduce these lost in VIP customers to your products and convert them back and increase your revenue. So one of my favorite ways to kind of customize an already predefined segment within Glew.
Awesome. So one of my favorite uses of Glew is using customer segmentation to create and utilize first order cohorts. So, we can use the customer segmentation capabilities in Glew to do so. So cohorts are going to be the group of customers who exhibit similar behaviors during a certain time span. So by using Glew's filtering capabilities, we can build each of these cohorts by month of first order. As you can see here in the example, we've done it by year. But this is the temporal tipping point that signals a customer's motivation for buying. Data-driven marketing really tailors email campaigns to consumer behavior. So by pushing these particular first order segments directly into your Klaviyo or Mailchimp, adjust your email marketing strategy so that every customer feels that this communication is personal based on their buying behavior. So for, let's see. For on this slide, so this is where you can see the customer segment that I created in customer list. It can also be viewed in customer segments. So what you can also do here with Glew's filtering capabilities is you can take this a step further. And if you add orders, let's say greater than 0, and you change your date range to say, last 30 days, then you can see how many of your 2021 customers have actively reordered, in the past month, which is really, really valuable. And then finally, my favorite customer segment that I have been really recommending and advising for current clients to use at this time is those first-time holiday shoppers. So obviously, this is going to be one of nearly every store's biggest cohorts. When are the next orders placed? I really want to see that data and have that at my fingertips. So obviously, I like to look for changing seasons and major holidays when I'm creating a segment such as this. So typically, these shoppers may, more often than not, be shopping for gifts and incentivized special offers. So for email marketing strategy, maybe send those offers proactively, and it will be most likely more well received. But unfortunately, most of these first-time holiday shoppers, they go on to make their second purchase at a lower rate than customers acquired outside of that holiday season. That's just how it goes. But what's neat is we see the power of Glew converting first-time holiday purchasers more effectively than they do the rest of the year, which, those rates can be significantly higher than non-holiday first-time buyers. So how can we do that? By using customer segmentation. I can't, nail that home enough, but the most effective brands we work with have tailored their communications based on what customers have been buying, so they know what to offer next. But obviously, we want these customers to keep coming back and making repeat purchases so we can drive the LTV up.
Cool. And then as just going on with the topic of predefined segments here in Glew, we already have a high AOV customer segment built out for you. Today, I want to talk just a little bit about how we can hone in and customize that high AOV segment. So what we're doing in Glew is we're identifying these top 10% of your buyers. So customers who are buying the largest basket size, spending the most with you each time that they order. Obviously, this is a good thing because increased basket sizes are making you more money at the end of the day. So you can attach additional filters onto our high AOV segments by adding in like lifetime orders is greater than or equal to 2. So you're getting really unique shoppers to encourage more and more higher level purchases. I know today we've talked a lot about pushing these segments over to your email marketing campaigns, but another way that you can use these is put them into a Facebook lookalike audience to find more customers who are similar to these high AOV purchasers. Obviously, the goal here is going to be to encourage more expensive baskets, more expensive products, even customers that are buying, your higher level top tier products, and just getting them to repeat and fill up their baskets over and over again.
Awesome. So as you can see the theme here, we're all picking our favorite custom segments. So I love our option to use first order and last click UTM filters within Glew. There is a lot of benefit to this, and I'll talk a little bit about just how to actually pull this, and then the benefits in just a second. So within Glew, you do have first order and last click. If you're not very familiar with what those mean, I'll just give you a quick explanation. It's two attribution models. So first order means that these are customers that you first acquired through, let's say, Facebook. And then let's say they came back and you sent them an email, they converted a second purchase through email, and then they came direct. In first order, all three of those purchases are attributed back to Facebook. So first order focuses on the original channel that brought your customer to your site and actually allowed them or made them convert. Benefits of that is going to be like a longer term view. You can look at things through lifetime value, and it's going to have a lot more of a very powerful understanding of that, right? Hey, we may acquire not as many customers through Facebook as we do through Google, but our Facebook customers end up spending a lot more money over the long term. So we should shift our acquisition strategy to focus more on that high value customer versus just a ton of customers who don't ever buy again. Last click, you're probably familiar with if you've ever jumped into your Google Analytics account. It's going to be, the last thing they clicked before they bought is getting credit. So same example there. If they bought through Facebook email direct, first sale gets credit through Facebook, second sale gets credit through email, third sale gets credit through direct. So what we're seeing here is just a quick example. You can filter on the channel, you can filter on the source, and then you can filter on the campaign. Typically, the two that we see most common is going to be channel and campaign. Channel is going to be the highest level, so you would typically see things like CPC, Google, Facebook paid, social, direct, email. Those are your big groupings. Campaigns is going to be, hey, I have an email, like let's say I'm using Klaviyo. I just ran a campaign. Looks like this one is many tiered sale, whatever you name it, you can pull that into. This is really interesting because you can start to group customers based on how you acquired them, right? especially when it comes to email. If you are using Klaviyo, Mailchimp, whatever, and you're UTM tagging, pull those campaigns in. Look at your highest performing one that Klaviyo is saying, hey, we made you all this money. Pop it into Glew and see actually how many people clicked and converted, right? A lot of these software companies that tell you they're driving revenue, they're a little bit biased. So Glew is going to be completely unbiased, right? So it's definitely a great way to look at it. In addition to that, when you pull this into that customer segment in Glew, you create it, you can analyze this data. You can actually see things like products purchased. So again, I'm saving this as a segment. I'm clicking into it. I'm analyzing it. If you scroll to the very bottom of that screen, you'll see products purchased. A great example of this, same kind of logic. Let's say I'm doing a Google ad, or I'm doing an email where I'm promoting a specific product. Well, I can, again, come in here, do last click campaign, and I can create that segment, and I can go in and see, are people actually purchasing the product that I'm promoting, or are they purchasing something else, right? If we're promoting a black sweatshirt and everybody's coming in and buying the red sweatshirt, we may want to change our advertisement to just be a link to the red sweatshirt. That increases the speed in which they buy. There's less time between decisions, and you may get higher conversions. If you ever do have questions or want to learn how to do that beyond what we went to today, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help you. Looks like the next slide here is just some more details on like where you'd find that in Glew. So again, this looks like we're focusing on a text attentive specifically campaign for VIP, like with early access. So just seeing the success of that, right? If we're granting people early access, are they taking advantage of that sale? Again, once you create these segments, you're doing last click campaign, you're saving that segment, and you're analyzing that data here. So that can be, again, a very powerful segment. Cool.
Awesome. So jumping out of our predefined segments tab, we're going to go one down into customer tags. If you're on BigCommerce or WooCommerce or Magento, I think they're all called customer groups, all the same thing, a tag, a group. What these are they are specific groups or tags that you can create in your e-commerce cart, and they're pulled directly into Glew. So customer tags, we have product tags as well, just as a side note, but they're really nice for kind of segmenting out bigger groups of customers that you want to see high-level reporting on. So if you wanted to put all of your customers that are buying wholesale together and just kind of analyze your wholesale versus your B2C data right next to each other, or you wanted to see everyone that was buying from a specific sale period or a sale group of products, you can totally do that. And Glew will ingest that and kind of show you, who's new versus repeat from those groups, and then purchasing customers. What else do we have here? Orders, total revenue, margins, and things like that as well. And lifetime value, which is always a perk. So we just wanted to kind of highlight those today because we recently added a filter in Glew, Christian, if you want to go to the next slide, where you are able to use this as a filter in the customer list section. So with that knowledge, you can apply a customer tag filter to any predefined segment or create your own in the custom segment part. So being able to filter on customers who have, I guess this is like a customer tag that was created on a survey at checkout. So how the customer heard about you, and they chose Instagram. So you could add that as a filter and then also see, they've purchased 5 times, or they were a high AOV customer, or they're now a lost customer, kind of just looping back to what we've talked about today. But they're super, super awesome. I don't think people utilize these enough. But definitely go in and build out some, custom tags over in your e-commerce cart so that we can pull them into Glew and use them as filters as well. And then if we want to go to the next one, so just some examples of what we've seen some of our customers use the customer tags for in the past. Birthdays, store locations. If you have a ton of locations, you can filter out East Coast, West Coast, Australia, whatever you want to do there. People who are subscribers versus people who have just bought one time or not subscribed to a product. You can also do if they purchased a certain product first, which is really cool. And then kind of what we walked through earlier, how they heard about you surveys too, which are awesome. And again, a plus is that you can overlap those tags with all of our filters that we offer in Glew, which is over 100. Didn't know that. That's a lot.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So The final piece of this, and this is probably the most important part, is going to be the segment automation. So within Glew, you have the ability to directly sync any segment that you've created, whether it's predefined or custom, directly to Mailchimp, Klaviyo, or ListTrack. So why this is really important is Glew is a dynamic system that your group of customers will change with whatever criteria you're creating. And as they fall in and out of that group of customers, it'll update, right? So this allows you to create any of the segments we talked about today, maybe ones that you've created, push them right over to those EMSs, and actually, do the work there, and then come back to Glew and track that performance, right? Every single segment has segment insights, so you can actually see how those are changing and growing, and LTV is moving up and down. And if you're not using the automatic push to Klaviyo or Mailchimp or ListTrack, I highly recommend you getting in touch with a CS rep or email support at glew.io if you're not sure who your rep is. And we're here to help you make sure you're doing that. It's going to be one of the ways that you're going to make the most money out of Glew. 3 or 4 simple segment pushes are going to yield a ton of results. So I highly recommend, if you're sitting there with Glew, you say, man, there's so much data here, I don't know where to get started. Let's start here. And that'll yield, quick wins. And you'll say, hey, I already paid for this subscription, in 2 weeks, right? Which makes it really easy to, justify having an analytics system. So again, just some quick notes on these. You can export anything out of Glew into a CSV. You can also do these dynamic pushes. Just a quick note on those. They do update every 24 hours. So, each day that list is going to get pushed over and it'll be a new group of customers, depending on it, if they changed or not. But yeah, so as far as, support post-webinar, you've met the CS team here today. They talked through some of their segments that they love. You can reach out to any of us if you want directly. If we're not your account manager, we'll put you in touch with your account manager. If you're not sure, again, reach out to support@glew.io. Our website has a ton of information as well. We put all of our webinars on there. We have some pre-built videos, FAQs, and in-app documentation. So there's a lot of resources if you are feeling lost. Take a peek at the website. If you're still lost, reach out to one of us. We're here to help. And if you have any feedback on the webinar, if there's, things in Glew that you're struggling with or you want to get better at, and you have suggestions, please let us know. We want to make sure that the content we're creating is, catered to you all. So appreciate everybody for attending today. We'll go ahead and wrap up a little bit early. I didn't see any questions, but maybe I'll leave like 30 seconds left for any that may pop in. But, if I don't see some in 30 seconds, we'll go ahead and end. All right. Sounds great. I think, Jen, if you want to go ahead and end it, feel free. But thanks again for everybody for joining today.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks.